Join us at the Pahrump Nugget Hotel and Casino with the #1 gaming experience and entertainment. The Pahrump Nugget has the #1 dining experience at Stockman Steakhouse, Golden Harvest Cafe, and the Gold Miners Buffet. Come get your game on at the Pahrump Nugget Hotel and Casino.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Albertsons. You're in for something fresh.
Welcome back to News 46. You know the drill. You wait and you wait to see your doctor only to be rushed along once you actually get in the exam room. But what if there was a better way? As Marty Salt reports, you might not be the only patient at your appointment.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment. 775-751-7100.
They walk in, shake your hand, check your heart, and before you know it, your time with the doc is up. But patients at UC San Diego are testing a new way to see their doctor with a 90-minute group visit.
For me, this is about giving patients choice, giving patients access to me as a physician.
Dr. Alexander Kuo calls one patient at a time to the front of the room for an exam.
That's just 1 milligram each day.
The rest of the group watches, listens, and asks questions.
What was the blood pressure?
They're looking for just more resources, more information, more help in dealing with their illness.
The group meets every 4 to 6 weeks, in addition to their private appointments. The pilot program offers patients better access to their doctors and each other.
They have a lot of shared knowledge, and they can teach each other from their shared experiences.
A recent study showed physicians are seeing less of their patients. Doctors in training spent just 8 minutes a day with each patient. That's only about 12% of their time, but they spent almost half of their days in front of a computer screen. Christy Dixon Johnston suffered acute liver failure last year. She decided to try a group visit. She says having the support of her doctor and the other patients helped her cope.
You're not alone. It's so wonderful. You're sitting there and you go, oh, I feel that too.
A new idea that could change the way you see your doctor.
It's good to see you.
I'm Marty Salt reporting.
Typically, between 5 and 7 patients attend Dr. Kuo's visit groups, and they can also bring a guest. At this time, UC San Diego offers the group appointments to patients with diabetes, liver disease, and HIV. Some places offer group visits instead of private appointments, but Dr. Kuo emphasizes his group visits are in addition to the regular exams. There's no extra charge, just the regular copay. Well, the Nevada Supreme Court has denied petitions from 2 murder defendants who wanted their potential death penalty trials delayed until the legislative board completes a study on capital punishment. Justices denied the request of Prentice Marshall and David Burns, who asked the court also to delay their death penalty trials until after the 2015 legislature meets and considers the cost study. In an order issued last week, the court said there is nothing in the legislative bill authorizing the study that precludes death penalty cases from proceeding. The court also said the legislature not including any money for a new death chamber was no reason to prohibit death penalty cases from going forward in court. And now a Pennsylvania woman has been charged in the November slaying of a man and she and her husband went and met through Craigslist. According to the report, the female has admitted to killing many more victims. Law enforcement says that Miranda Barber's new claims could be the real deal. The 19-year-old Barber said that she participated in at least 22 killings in the past 6 years in Alaska, Texas, North Carolina, and California. She also stated that she can pinpoint them all on a map. Barber told reporters that she had her first experience with killing when she was just 13. Shortly after, she said she joined a satanic cult in Alaska. Well, now we have Dr. Odell from the Neuropathy Pain Centers of America, and he spoke recently to a group of patients and family at the Pahrump Nugget.
Neuropathy is a disease that affects a large number of people in the United States. About 8% of people of the population has neuropathy. Of the diabetics, about 27% of people with diabetes know they have neuropathy. A lot more have neuropathy and don't know it. There's also idiopathic neuropathy, which means we don't know what causes it. And about 40% of all neuropathies are caused by either toxic chemotherapy, alcohol, heavy metals, Agent Orange, and things like that. So it's a huge problem. And up until right now, there has not been a way of treating it.
Are you finding more and more patients complaining of it?
Well, as people learn more and more about different diseases, including neuropathy on the internet, they're finding out there's something that can be done about it, because most of the time their doctor says there's nothing we can do, but there is something we can do.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, kind of the treatments and managing it.
Well, the patient goes through a thorough evaluation. We are, of course, not a medical clinic, but for example, if they have diabetes, we make sure that their diabetes is under control. The hemoglobin A1C, for those of you who have diabetes, probably know what that is. We then do a nerve test, which is a very sensitive test for small fibers, small nerve fibers. I actually helped develop in the middle 90s, and this will tell us, it's very sensitive, will tell us if people have neuropathy. If they don't, we would figure out some of the source of the pain, like coming from the back. I'm an interventionist, so we can figure that out. But then what we go ahead and do is start treating it with a series of injections, local anesthetic given Monday and Friday, a small dose, only about a fourth of a surgical dose. Then we follow on with a very, very far advanced electromedical device made by Synexus Corporation that is utilized in conjunction with the block to start the body healing. The healing is affected because it increases blood flow, it increases inside the cell something called cyclic AMP, which I don't mean to be technical, but this is associated with cell healing. We let the body do what it can do, we let it heal. We're treating a chronic disease with acute means. The other thing it does is it boosts the immune system. I use the machine when I do when I do back blocks. I don't use steroids. I use the machine, which the steroids will suppress the immune system. The electromedical device, the frequencies increase it, and we can program the machine according to what the patient has. This is a long treatment. It's 2.5 months. We're not like a medical destination, because people have to be treated 3 times a week for 4 weeks, then we reevaluate, then we continue. The reason is because it's a chronic disease. People have had this for years, and we're changing it. But the body takes time to heal. As you know, a fracture takes 6 to 8 weeks, and this is the same thing.
And Dr. Odell is triple board certified and quite a nice man. We're fortunate to have him here in Pahrump. Thank you so much, Dr. Odell. Well, tonight we conclude our exclusive interview in a part three with performer from Amargosa Opera House. That would be Marta Beckett.
In New York, let's face it, I couldn't have done what I did here. I couldn't possibly rent such a large building. All the authorities would have been after me. My permits, my taxes. Here I just put a can with a slot in it for people to put their donations, and I danced, whether anybody came or not.
What was it like to try to build a life here in such an unpopulated location?
It was difficult because my marriage was going on the rocks. My husband was getting more upset at my popularity and played a token on my personal life. He left in 1982, and then I set up a schedule with Wilgott, and I created 12 different stage productions with him, which I couldn't have done with my husband. He wouldn't have wanted to be part of it.
What did he do for a living?
I hate to tell you this, but he had a side job working as a bartender at the local brothel.
So what was that like for you? You said that he was jealous of your popularity, but he worked at a brothel.
We got to meet the kind of people he decided were going to be part of his life. And this hurt me very much. It's all in the book that I wrote.
Let's talk a little bit about your popularity. You just are, for lack of a better word, just world renowned. People know you all over the place. How do you think that that happened, and that you are a destination for people traveling across the United States to come see Marta Beckett at the Amargosa Opera House?
I think that when I started to paint the murals inside the Opera House, curiosity reared its head, and people came to see what this crazy woman was doing and why was she doing it, because when I started it, I was painting murals on a building I didn't even own. And people would say, what are you going to do when somebody who owns the building says, I want it back? You're going to have to leave. You know?
So what happened with that?
Well, I would say to them, nobody can take away the happiest years of my life. When I painted these murals, they will go with me wherever I go after this life.
And it was 16 years ago that I interviewed Marta Beckett, and she was still dancing at the age of 74 and very limber, just like any ballet dancer. What a wonderful woman, very inspiring story. Well, we will have more after this break. Please stay with us.